Not too much to dive into too much. We just want to like get our homework done for this week. We're gonna have a short trading week this week, as tomorrow is a bank holiday. We finally got some credit Juneteenth. How many years later? I guess we'll take credit. We'll take it where we get it, right? It just took forever, but we'll take it where we get it. So we finally have Juneteenth. The banks are closed, so I'm not expecting to do too much trading outside of just staring at the futures. But I will get my overall chart ready to kind of give an idea and recap from last week. But basically, the futures trading is really going to give us an idea of what Tuesday is going to look like, more than what Friday's close is going to give us, because we have a holiday this weekend, right? So it's going to be a little bit of a iffy week, I believe. We're at the top looking at the futures here. We're right up at this top shoulder. So where we want to go from here, I would expect a retracement or some type of chop, since we've blown through the previous high here. We're now up here. Now, I don't know if we want to reach for the peak back here, all the way back from what is time frame is this? March 2022. Woo! Let's recover. All right. I mean, I would love to see it, but I do think it may be a slow crawl this week. What do we have this week as far as? I totally forgot about Forex Factory. Give me a second. I mean, forgetting to pull it up before this call. So my bad. I apologize. So we have, oh, that's right. We have the federal chair Powell testified this week. What happened the last time he testified? I don't really recall what exactly he did. I'll have to look up that date if somebody doesn't have it right on hand, on exactly like what price action kind of did that day that he was testifying in front of the House of, is it, I think he does both. He does so this is the House of Financial Service Committee. Last time I think it was in front of like Congress or the House of Representatives. That's what I was thinking of. So let me see here. So on Wednesday, he testifies in the House of Financial Services Committee. And then on Thursday, he testifies, I think this was at Congress, the Senate Banking Committee. So we'll see what this week kind of looks like with him doing that. We have unemployment claims as well this week in the morning, Thursday morning. So for all of you who may be curious into trading futures better and wanting more experience with futures, this Thursday, I know at first, for some of you who've been rocking with me for a while, I've seen the days change, but that's because of news. And I'm trying to create an event that will encompass the volatility of the futures market in the morning, for the futures pre-market, I would say, before the equities market opens. So in trying to meet that goal for the Trader's Crib, the dates that I'm hosting the free futures event are kind of fluctuating depending on the politicians and their dates of how they're structuring things. And that's all I have to go off of, because of course don't want us to be on here bored. So, we want to be in here when the action's in here. So Thursday, June 22nd is when Federal Powell testifies at 10 a.m., but we also have unemployment claims being dropped at 8:30 a.m. I think all that may tie into we may have like a volatile move or impulsive move that we could take advantage of on Thursday morning before pre-market. And then that will set up also for those who are more comfortable in trading the equities, to know what your setup is. So join us at 8 a.m. on Thursday morning, bright and early. I know. But if you get into a routine where you wake up early all the time, then it doesn't feel so bad. So hope to see you all there. I know some of you have 9 to 5s that you guys are holding down, so I completely understand. But we'll look at some pre-market action on this Thursday. Other than that, we'll get back into kind of figuring out where price wants to go for this week. So again, like I mentioned, we have tomorrow as a holiday. We'll see. I assume prices just kind of like for the futures market in particular, just kind of oscillate between like a tight range, and you're not really going to get a lot of good risk to reward ratios. And then when we come into Tuesday, towards the end of the week with all this news, we'll see. Tuesday doesn't have any particular news, but starts Wednesday. So we'll see what the market may want to do on Tuesday. That'll give us a candlestick that may, hopefully, gives us a good signal that we could set up right for Wednesday. But only time will tell for that. So we're definitely like recovering, I think, overall. Let's come out to the weekly and kind of give a look at what the futures is doing. So, we have this big, huge W on the chart, and then we have this other smaller W, and then price is coming up here, and we're meeting, this really defiant peak here on the weekly time frame. And this price peak would be right at, if I mark this line, so let's get into charting support and resistance levels, and we'll kind of do a top-down analysis so you guys can be set up for next week. So if I would just mark that line kind of like at I'll take it tier-wise, because this doji is so small. So mark the doji however you like. If you want the top, if you want the bottom, it's pretty small. But either way, you're at about 45.3375 for that top. My fair value gap indicator is also illuminated on this particular time frame. The fair value gap is really is this candle to this candle. I'm not sure why the fair value gap indicator is still acknowledging it there when price clearly went through, but it could be because this is a long candle and we really haven't like closed the top of this next shoulder. And then once we do that, this may disappear. So we'll see. I'm taking it very lightly because it is on a weekly, and this zone has definitely been penetrated through. It does make me feel as though price wants to keep coming up this way, but I want to make sure that I'm reading it right. So as we come down to the daily time frame on the futures, we see that line that I placed on the weekly is coming right into the peak area, the tip part of this formation here, this previous high. So we matched the shoulder high. Now we're at the peak high. So yeah, like that shoulder high versus peak high. I think y'all are following the difference there. And that line comes right underneath my doji that's within this pattern. So I like that as well, for potential. Now, if I come in here and what I'm saying, potential clearing out of liquidity, because as I come in here closer, we see 2, maybe 3. We probably can wing 3 order blocks within here just by looking at the consolidation of candles. So obviously we came here, we came through here, as you can see, current price from Friday is right in this order block. And then we have another one that's like right here. So as it continues to come up to clear these 2 liquidity blocks out, we'll see what it will do once it finally gets to the tippy top peak right here, because we do have another small shoulder. Could even call this an order block here because we are on the daily. Here it's just getting smaller and smaller, right? So as we're clearing out these 3 levels of blocks, we'll reach up to the peak right under there, right how IWT teaches, and then from there we definitely know we're going to have a bounce and potential reversal, but who knows, as things are aligning with the news and depending on who politician, who says what at what time, we could blow through this high. So keep that in mind. Don't get so stuck on, we're coming to a previous high, so price is going to get rejected. Price has a higher probability of getting rejected, but there is still probability that price can break through the level and continue on up. And overall, the markets prefer to be positive versus negative, going on upward climb. So we would assume that we would eventually want to break this level at some point. Don't know how soon, don't know how much of retracement it needs and all of that, but you guys can see we're coming up close here. and we have a pretty strong run up. So that's just kind of like my overview of the futures as I come to from the weekly and daily perspective. The reason why I'm not this particular call, I'm going to get into a lot of day trade setups, is because we have tomorrow that is going to do more trading and shifting of things between the futures and forex market, and that you will need to come back in tomorrow evening and do homework again to set up for your day trades on Tuesday. And fortunately for you all, we have the BYOB event on tomorrow, and that BYOB event, we'll do a little bit of charting, and we will kind of revisit a lot of the things that we, charted here, and kind of see how it compares to whatever happened on Monday, right? So by all means, if you feel like, well, I don't want to do my homework today, I'm gonna wait till Monday because we have a holiday, that's totally fine. I'm gonna go over some things for the people who are available today and not tomorrow, and then we'll be going over some things tomorrow. So again, hope to see you all tomorrow, BYLB/Juneteenth, kick it with the traders, crib ladies, and your drink does not have to be alcoholic when I say BYLB, all right? A lot of us are very herbalist, spiritual ladies up in here, so I am all about sipping the tea, okay? The herbal teas and tonics and whatever concoctions you guys want to mix up. But that will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. So by all means, you can wait to do your homework then with the group if you want to wait then. All right. So a potential setup, I would say, for futures right now, just looking at 2 long candles, and y'all know how much I love my 2-hour time frame. We do have this downward momentum pull here. I'm not going to chart any lines. I'm only going to stay daily to weekly today, and tomorrow we'll get into day trade setups for Tuesday that we can potentially capitalize on. Because right now, anything I chart is subject to change. So I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth my time. All right. But we can give a wrap up. So, and of course, if I were to chart key support and resistance, if we were basing it just off a weekly and daily, for those who may still be learning how to really chart, I would, for right now, take my, data from the top like I just did, and that's my resistance up here. And if I want to chart off my support, then by looking at this chart from where current price is on my daily time frame, the gap is a very big signal that this is anytime you see a gap, it's pretty much where you're going to immediately put support and resistance lines, because those gaps are definitely going to play as support and resistance lines, right? So we can just go in on a daily support and resistance for now, and we'll come in later. All right.
Randy, you do your gaps by the wicks and not by the base?
I do.
Bodies, rather?
I do. Because sometimes the wick will hold it up and price won't retrace through there. If it doesn't break the wick that's in the gap, price is not going to fill the gap.
Okay.
So, and I don't get psyched out by this little move right here, because then it's not worth it. Always wait for those confirmation breaks. All right. Says Cammy, since you jumped on here, is there any tickers you want to start with today that you were interested in from last week?
Start with SPY.
Okay, we can do that. I'm all for taking recommendations on where to start. No matter what, we're going to go over whatever tickers that are burning your heart's desire. All right, so looking at SPY. SPY is a lot like the futures, right? So we have this run up baking candle on the opposite side. But it's more solid here on the SPY than it is on the futures. Why? Because the futures is trading all night and the SPY isn't. It's just that simple. So SPY closed within this daily fair value gap, which is nice. But if I'm not mistaken, price, where did we go? Price came up.
Really quick, before you do SPY, are you on overnight?
I do not have my extended time frame on SPY at the moment. Once I zoom.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna turn mine off.
For SPY, I'm recognizing, and it was actually the help of Tammy and Trinika that got me to turn this shit off. Tammy, Trinika, and Alyssa, because I had it on too, and then we were having discrepancies. Like the days they were winning and I was losing on the same damn trade, and I was like, wait, what is that? And they were like, I turned off the extended day on SPY. Now, I do find it beneficial on some tickers, but on SPY, is if you're following the futures, you really don't need it for SPY. I would say that. And I think that's why they turned it off, because there were, I think, and they can quote me, they can correct me if I'm wrong if they're in here. I think I saw Trinika in here. I don't know if I saw Tammy. So, and since they told me that, literally, I turned it off. My trades have been a lot more successful with SPY, because I think those little spotty little dot candles that be coming up when you have the extended time frame on it just fucks with your psychology, for lack of a better word, y'all. Sorry, but it's just a mind fuck. So you got to tell yourself, like, wait, what am I looking at? So sometimes, because the way our brains are just hardwired, right? Like, you're going to default into whatever your brain sees before you ask yourself, wait, should I do this instead? So that's where, like, you're going to have to set up your charts to trick you for your brain, if that makes sense. Yeah. I have to say about that in those time frames. So just be careful across the tickers as you guys are using the extended day. Sometimes it's best and sometimes it's not. So for SPY, I would say it's not, because we follow the futures. And the futures is going to give you every bit of information that the SPY doesn't. And that's exactly why on Friday, the SPY came up here to 443 and then like came down like immediately. And I knew it was going to like come to this level and then pretty much be done with it. I wanted it to come to 446. I wanted it so bad. But Kim, this is exactly why you were asking me why I take the wick, and this is why. Price turned around at the wick, not the base. And if you keep following Terry on that, depending on the move, and you don't go into a smaller time frame to point out those smaller fair value gaps, charting the way Terry says to right here is going to keep you holding longer than what you want every single time. And I learned that the hard way. I gave too much money in the market doing Terry right here versus taking the wick.
Oh, you mean getting out?
Correct. Getting out.
Okay.
Because charting Terry, you would have held to 444, but price never got to 444. And understanding fair value gaps, if you understand about fair value gaps, then you hold to 443 and you get out. And that's what I did. I played fair value gap, a little ICT sprinkle in here, and I got out right on time.
Okay. Well, I'm in some calls now, so I'm just trying to figure out if I need to hurry up and get out when the market.
Even if you're swinging, I would use these wicks versus the body, because the body, it will turn around because of the futures, and that's why. So this is exactly what happened. I'm gonna show you. This is perfect. I'm glad you brought up SPY and all this. All right, I know I'm squeezing kind of tight. Most of the eyes in the room today, I think, are a little experienced. So you guys can see how price came up to 443 and turned around right after it filled this fair value gap, basically. Okay.
You called 443 last week.
Say that again.
And you called that last week. You're the one who stayed in to 443.
Because the daily fair value gap. And the pattern wasn't finished from the smaller time frame. Now, if you chart to the fair value gap, meaning you're taking the wick before the long candle, you're coming here. And what I'm going to show is why price didn't take you to Terry's level. And the answer is in the futures. Because you're like, oh, it's not respecting, it's cutting me short, or it's not coming up all the way to like here before I'm able to get out. It's because of the futures fair value gap. And the futures filled before SPY got to the higher point, right? Before it got to 444, the futures filled. So that's why when I play SPY, I do just the fair value gaps only on SPY and nothing more, because the futures will stop you out. And if we come to the daily, and you got to remember, see, this peak looks completely different on the futures than it does on the SPY. So make note of that. The top of the shoulder for futures is here.
Hey, why don't you show both? Why don't you go into two charts?
I can do that.
Thank you.
No, I need y'all to tell me this, because I want y'all to get it. So tell me what y'all need, because I get it per how I see it. I need to help y'all see what I see. So if I have to change it around, this is not the daily, that's part of the problem. Then let me know. So appreciate you, Kim. That is over.
SPY is on 15-minute.
Thank you. I'm getting there. I'm setting it up.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
There you go.
Appreciate you. Okay, so we got SPY. Let's put some lines in here. So the way the SPY looks, we have the top of the fair value gap here. And we have the top of the bacon candle. Bacon in the crib means big ass candle. All right. We have the top of that candle, meaning the top of the base. I'm not taking it away. Okay, top of the base of this candle here. So this is the zone I'm charting and playing with. All right. And my first target is 443. And my second target is 448.
Okay.
From the longer time frame experience and how I'm looking at it. Like, and now I'm all from here, I'm looking at the futures to say, when is it going to actually do the move on SPY?
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
we know we got this room left. Now when? Okay, now we got to come over to futures. So we come over to the future side. Yeah, and then the futures. So we have a few levels here. So I'm gonna mark. So if I were to mark a line at the bottom of this wick, this little baby green candle, that's your leg in base, the base leg out. Okay, if I take the wick, and I take the wick of this long candle here, Friday, April 22nd of 2022, this is my fair value gap. It's not illuminating anymore because it filled. Okay, but this is my daily fair value gap on the futures. Okay, I saw this whole, and there was another one. Like this was one fair value gap, and this was another one, which is why I did so well last week. Okay, so once we got up here and we filled this one, I knew price wasn't going to last too much longer. It was just a matter of time, because just like on my SPY, I'm betting price to go no further than the top of the base of a big ass bacon candle. All right. So if that applied to the futures, then now I have another line that I'm placing here, right? 44.68. So price right now, as you can see, is sitting right in between the fill of the fair value gap and finishing out the top of the bacon candle. It's smack right in the middle. So price closed Friday. All right. So that let me know that once the fair value gap was cleared, meaning this white block was cleared on futures, I need to be getting my ass out of SPY.
Okay.
Anything up here is going to be short-lived.
Now, for those of us who have delayed SPY ES futures, we got to figure out how to do that.
You're going to either need, if you're not in Trading View, you need to be in Thinkorswim because it's not delayed. You need to figure out how to look at data that's not delayed. That's going to be my only solution to that.
Right.
So pay for Trading View, which is what, $4.99. I think Tiffany was in here first. I think that's how she left.
Yeah, it's $4.99 a month for $5.
Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, $4.99 a month for that live data. Or you're using Thinkorswim.
Yeah, I am. I just have to be able to go back between the two really quick.
Yes, and that's where you're, either setting up split. I think you can do split screen on Thinkorswim.
Well, I'm not that good with Thinkorswim yet, so I'm just.
You know who to call. You better call Maria.
I know, right?
Maria is the queen, hands down, at Thinkorswim, and she is real because she doesn't use anything else. She refuses to buy Trading View. She refuses to trade any of the tickers. Because I'm telling you, when we were in Ohio, I was like, Maria, do you really want just futures? Like, you have the capital futures? She's like, yeah, I want futures. I was like, she's all in on futures.
Oh, okay. So she's not doing the regular market anymore.
She's not doing the regular market at all. She has completely left the right. She don't give a shit. she only wants to trade the futures because she likes the fact that it's not messing with her PDT. Because it's too much on Maria's brain. She can't do that PDT rule. So future gives her no PDT, and it doesn't like it. You don't have this cash settling time frame that you do on the equity side. So like literally when you are in and out of futures and you profit, like that money's right there. It doesn't have this settlement thing, or maybe it does, but when I'm actively trading it, it's like the money's right there, versus when I'm actively trading the equities, right? You guys see that unsettled cash line, right? While you're waiting on things to settle overnight. So you don't have that in futures, and she loves it. And I don't blame her, because I love the fact that you can trade overnight with it too. You're not bounded by 4 o'clock either. You have more time. And then if something happens in London or Asia, then you're making money in your sleep, like literally. All right, so so this is the similar lineup, as you guys can see from the past, of how the futures and the SPY are looking, right? And it's a slight little differences in candle colors and things like that. So overall, it's best to pay attention. Set your alerts on the futures. If a future fills a fair value gap, you need to be looking to exit your SPY positions sooner than later. You could probably hold it for a couple cents, not a full dollar. Just because a futures got $10 more, that means if the futures has $10, the SPX has $1. I'm telling you that right now. Like it's not this big move. If you only see a $10 to $15 move on the futures, and you only have like $1 move on the SPY to equate that, like you need the futures to have over a 20-point move for the SPY to give you $2 plus. Okay, and for you to be able to sit in that, because we all know the SPY can give $4 days and stuff like that. Don't you hold your breath too tight if the futures don't have the move. Simple. So now that we're up here and the futures is in this shoulder, and the futures is literally at the top of this bacon candle, I'm not expecting price to live too much further. So let's come back to current prices to see where the wicks hit, because if the wicks already hit 44.61, and it's a wrap. Exactly. So we already cleared this area. So we're already up here. Let me go back one more time. Let me put a line. So now what I would do, since the line is at the top of my base candle, the body candle, I was saying, now I'm marking the wick on the daily as a placement point, because I know this wick has solid candles in it that I just cannot see because it's a daily wick, right? So there's some other areas of key resistance in here. This is why you can't trust the wicks on a daily time frame, because probably you'd be like, oh, price turned around like somewhere in this wick. Exactly, because somewhere in this wick is a hardcore tweezer top that's just sitting there looking at your face, and you're not going to see it until you come down in the 2 hour, 4 hour. So I mark that area so I know where I need to look for that reversal candlestick pattern between the top of my body and the wick. So I want this range here so I can come in and look for candlesticks. Are y'all following me so far? I ain't even pull up chat. Y'all good? I'm just going off that. So what we will do, let me come back to here. Okay. So we can see from the daily that price even wicked up pretty damn close. Like we're only, what is that, about $10 shy of it reaching the wick of that top candle. So, and we already have, with it pushing up in it, we have our reversal pattern already showing, potential reversal. I say potential because this can turn around and continue up as well. Like this, we always get little stares that happen, and they could be red, but we want to acknowledge that this does look pretty inverter hammer-ish, which is a bearish reversal. So let's go into the 2 hour first. Come down to 2 hour. I'm going to go all the way back in the past, and we're going to see why price turned around at this most recent swing high that we have from Friday. I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to go back and find the truth. So that was 44.93. Where's the truth? And this is where you start like putting different colors in and stuff like that, put labels on so you can remember where you mark your lines. So as we come back, into the 2 hour on the futures now, we're still on the futures, haven't gone back to SPY, so we can kind of do it like that. So this 44.93, that was the top of the most hot, the swing high on Friday, right? It's coming up, look at that. Perfect Terry, perfect IWT charting without even trying, okay? Bam, right there in your face. That's why price turned around. That's why price turned around. I don't have to explain it to y'all. Y'all know this is a reversal. Price turned around right here. So this is why you don't trust the wicks. So you gotta come down to your 2 hour to dissect and find key candlestick patterns that are gonna make price turn around for you, so you won't hold too long. And this is what's gonna help you get out right on time. Coming down in that 2 hour and finding the finesse. So from here, I could even move this line to be at the top of here, because I know this is a tweezer top now. So I have a bacon candle, right? So price is down here, we clear. So from my 2 hour perspective, looking at current price cleared a bacon candle, just cleared it to start right at the wick. Perfect, perfect, but not, because ultimately, because it didn't clear, like you see how this line is going just a little bit through this wick. All right, ideally, I feel like I will want it to close right there to make me convinced that it wants to take this next candle. Now, I'm not saying that it still won't do it. That's not what I'm saying. All you need to do from here is pay attention to the retracement move that is highly probable from finishing this candle before taking the next candle. And then you should be able to take this entire next candle up if bullish is the way we're going. This is all speculative, right? This is just me trying to help you guys understand what I'm seeing on the chart per move. Again, you can go, this all applies the opposite way as well, but this right now is if we continue further up, all right, and retrade and clear out this big candle up here. And again, because of Terry, because Terry's not wrong, this wick is going to matter. She puts it here. I always take the wick. I'm telling you, your wick is going to be your saving grace. Like if you want to get real absolute, and you need the absolutes to ensure that you're putting in the right premium price if you're playing options and you're trying to get out based on the current underlying. So when I first drew the line, I think the line came like right here, pretty close, but within range. Because these cents matter to my take profit target when I enter it into the broker system, I need to move this line to the wick to account for that, or I may get, or I may be in a situation where I'm holding too long and price turned around on me because I was negligent to acknowledge this wick. It's happened to me too many times. And for y'all who sat here and heard me curse at the screen for it, y'all already know. I'm over getting stopped out too early. I'm over that shit. I hate it. This is why I take the wick. I hate it because I'd rather take the wick, get out, and then get back in. Live trading another day. You can always get out, take your profit, and get back in. Because now you just grew your account. Congrats. So now we're going to come down to the 2 hour and look at the bottom. So I have all these lines at the top. I marked with price and kiss through here. We have a very small range now for it to finish coming up. Now, when I look at my 2 hour based on the lines I plotted to say, well, what if it comes up? I come to my 2 hour and I recognize I have almost a borderline M pattern. So I'm really looking at now even more so to be like, okay, well, I don't know if you really want the top because you left countless, but 1 rejection wick, 2 rejection wick, 3 rejection wick, 4 rejection wick, 4 rejections from the high. And you were like, nah, I'm coming down with a very good, solid bearish candle to break this previous, this low here, right? So because we broke the low, I'm convinced now I think we have an imminent bearish move coming. I just don't know if this bearish move is going to happen overnight tonight into tomorrow for futures trading, or we're going to have any move left for Tuesday. So that's why I'm saying I'm not doing too much analysis on the intraday move, because I do think it's highly probable to change between today and Tuesday, because I can see us actually filling out this liquidity because robots, other things are going on overnight. So it's just going to do the damn thing. It already gave me the signal that it wanted to break this level because it did, and it closed below. It just got rejected a little bit. So the reason why this wick is here is because there's a wick over here and it got rejected a little bit. But this to me is a cue that it wants to continue down. Another that just from the red candle, the second cue that it wants to come down is this green candle and how it ended up getting rejected from the top and started to come down. So this to me seems like a continuation to the bottom to fill this fair value gap. All right, now let's come back over to the SPY. How do we play it on the SPY? Because I don't have futures money. All right, let's take a look. We're gonna beat up the SPY today. Beat it up, beat it all the way up. So I immediately went to the 2 hour because I know that my futures 2 hour looks like this. So the SPY got to have something similar, I would hope. It's not as long because it's a SPY and not the futures, but it is there. You can see the similarities within these two patterns, okay? From the 2 hour on the future and the 2 hour on the SPY. So the SPY, again, confirmation that it wants to finish out its own fair value gap. So I would think that this first fair value gap on the futures would be about equal to the SPY finishing out this fair value gap to 437. Again, the move from current price on the futures to the target is about $25. I said 20, so I told y'all 10. So this is still like what? $2, I said about $2 move. You need about $20 or more to get that. Boom. Okay, your girl is good. All right. You need at least $20 on the futures to get $2 out of SPY. All right, or something close to it. Okay, so there's your $2 on SPY. If you scale right, you can make some of your goals. Correct? $2-ish, right? So, you know, y'all know by the time you click in and get the button and all that stuff, how much of the move you really gonna have. But that's taking the first fair value gap. And to me, this is a pretty, you know, unfortunately, I don't believe we'll be able to take this move. The market runs tomorrow, y'all. So if you're not trading futures, I do think this move you're gonna have to take with the futures and not the SPY. And then when price comes back on Tuesday, depending on where the futures is and how that lines up with the SPY, then you can take the next SPY move. So overall, I am expecting to clear this fair value gap, and we'll see where it goes from there. So we can take that short put down, get out. This is a lot of candles. If anybody comes in here talking about something, oh, I want the bottom gap, y'all know damn I'm gonna come through the screen and slap y'all. Y'all know doggone well this price got to break this level and break this gap before it comes down here. So you better get out at this candle again. It doesn't have a wick, so the wick is at the level of the base, but the same rules apply, right? If the wick was up here, the fair value gap will stop up here. If the wick was here, the fair value gap will stop here. It's all about this candle before the large candle that's given the fair value gap boundaries. All right, it's the candle after it and the candle before it that are setting the boundaries of the fair value gap. So we're coming down. So it's a nice little scalp move. All right, I think we beat up SPY a lot. What y'all think? So 437 on Tuesday. Yeah, like I can see it gapping open there if this runs down. I totally agree with you, Esther. That's why we gotta wait and just chill. You either gonna play the futures or you're gonna chill till Tuesday. Because I personally recommend, if you know, just don't try to set up any moves until the market opens on Tuesday. Now, for all my futures players in the house, come on, we about to make money in our sleep. Right, because I got to pull Tiffany over to the dark side. She's sitting over there with approve futures account. She can't get over to the other side to trade it yet, but we gonna get you there, Tiffany. I'm here for you, girl. We gonna trade.
Hi. I don't trade them either. I need to learn how to do it.
The futures?
Yeah.
It's all the candlesticks. It's the same stuff. It's just about how you want to trade it overnight. So I'm recognizing, for me, I don't like stop losses for options during the day. I think they do me more harm than good. But for futures, I use stop losses, and I actually use OCO bracket orders. And if I base it off my candlesticks and I read my candlesticks right, then I'm more profitable than not. There are sometimes the price trips up off me, but that's why I use the stop loss, because then I don't have to really like worry about it. I can just kind of, I just go to sleep and I either wake up with profit or I don't. I know that sounds like super risky, like Randy, like, what do you mean? Well, I mean, it's true. I'm telling you, from my journal, I wake up more times with profit than I don't, but there have been some losses in there.
So I'm thinking, is it better to do it with, not with I have an account with the Trade Station, and I'm almost don't want to do it with them. Like, should I open account with
I don't
Think
know.
and Swim?
Um,
Do the futures with that?
so I can consult Luke for you if you're deciding you have a little bit of time to figure out why he chose to stay with TradeStation and open the futures with TradeStation and trade the futures with TradeStation. Luke is like one of the few that I just know personally that is trading futures in TradeStation. There's probably a few other of you in here doing the same, but I know he is. And I would just have to like pick his brain as to why. I think it's primarily because, if I had to speculate, is because he does like the Trading View app, and he has linked his TradeStation account with Trading View, and he trades all right here. He trades the futures right here from Trading View.
I know I can do that too, but I'm just not so good with the platform. I don't want to
Mhm.
make this big boo-boo. But I think it would be easy to do it from one thing.
I do too. I think that if you are already with TradeStation and you didn't mind TradeStation this whole time, and you
I tried on Trading View right
okay.
now, but I'm used to just using trade stations like buy and sell and that. I'm not that good to put stop. I mean, I can do with shares and stuff, it's easy, but with when you go to, like I asked you about doing stop loss with the options, it's kind of difficult. You have to do the math and all that.
It is.
But
There is more. You have to like know the intrinsic versus extrinsic values. Now you're looking at your Greeks, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to find a quick solution to that, but it's not coming. So but if you want to trade the futures for TradeStation, I would link your account, and it is actually very, very easy. So options is difficult through TradingView because you have to like go through another third party to get like an options chain to be able to pull options through TradingView and your TradeStation. But as far as the futures go, the way the futures is traded and the way the money's pulled out, I would say you don't have to go through the same issues as you do for options. So it's actually really, 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 really easy, Fatima, to trade futures from TradingView if you link your TradeStation account, because you're literally coming in here to the chart and you're placing your orders exactly where you want, and it's a wrap. Like, and your stop losses are super easy. So you can come in here, and I will show you can right click on it. You'll get all of this, of course, but right here, trade, you want to create a new order. So when you press create a new order, I didn't connect I'll connect the paper account for this example. Let's bring it back down. All right. So we'll trade, and you can do right here, as you can see, let me kind of pull this over a little bit. Okay, so when I click create a new order, there you go. So you can do a buy or sell immediate. This is like your market buttons, like your buttons that are just gonna put you right there at those prices. Or you can click create a new order, which will pull up this little nice window, which makes you be able to do a bracket order, I think even easier than Thinkorswim. Because what you could do is, if you want the bracket, you'll check take profit and stop loss, and then you put in what you need, and you can base it off price, the percentage if you want, the ticks. I usually do price because that's what we're practicing with. So whichever floats your boat is fine. Your time in force, you know, good to canceled or whatever, you can change that the same way, and you're just done. And then once you put it in there, so the market's not open yet, but say I hit buy. Okay, so once I hit buy, it puts these lines on the chart where this is your take profit order, this is your buy to get in, and this is your stop loss. Guess what? You can just move it. And you're a
That's
hairdresser
so-
girl, and you can't
Yeah.
be worried about the trailing stop. And you're like, let me just move it. Oh, let me just look price. Let me just move the line. You can literally just move the line, Fatima. Like, it's amazing. You can move this line. Oh, it's still going. Let me get a little more coins. Oh, it's still going. Oh, let me move that stop line. You get, like, it's
No,
so easy.
that looks easy.
So if you like
Yeah.
Trading View and you think you want to do futures, I would stay with TradeStation if you think this setup is going to work best.
Yes, I think what I do is just need to call somebody and sign paper saying I wanted to try to do the future.
And I think this is why Luke has stayed with TradeStation and Trading View, because this, I ain't gonna lie, this is super easy. Like, this, you can't beat being able to move your take profit and stop loss and buy orders this easy based off the chart. I mean, when all the stuff I'm telling you about candlesticks, you can literally put it right under the candlestick patterns. I mean, no thought about it at all.
No, that looks easy. I wish I could tell you I'm so easy doing things. I'm like a mess.
No worries, girl. We got you.
But I wanted to tell you this. So I remember how Friday I was in a SPY calls.
Mhm.
So of course it turned around, and I mean I was losing, and I'm doing hair. So I bought a call. I mean, I bought a put, but I also watched. I did get some of the Adobe, but the problem is I'm still in the Adobe puts, 2 of them, and I'm worried if it's going to go up.
Well, thank you, Fatima. Let's talk about Adobe. So, our next,
I'm in 2 puts, and I made some money, but I didn't get out because I was like it was bleeding. So I kind of covered some, and I was still a little bit in the red. And I said, oh, maybe it would go more, and I forgot it's no trading tomorrow. Anyway, oh well.
so you said your inputs, right?
Uh-huh.
And the gap definitely filled on Friday.
Yes, it did.
It took it to the end of the day too. It didn't start really doing it to the end of the day. So it filled again. Here we go, y'all. Kim, that wick. It stopped right at that wick. You better trust these wicks, girl. These wicks don't play. So from the 2 hour, I just dropped immediately to the 2 hour for Adobe, you guys, because Adobe has just been moving crazy upwards for the past few weeks. And I mean, just blowing through zones, just like, I don't give a shit about any of these zones. I'm coming up. And I think it gapped up to run down, Fatima, but this is still a bull run. And then, so when should you get out the put? And I don't know how much room you have left. It may, if it's strong, that it comes down and to fill this fair value gap. So let me mark it on my daily, do my steps daily, then come to my 2 hour. And let's see how it looks. So we got a nice fat, and this is considered fat to me, a fat, juicy chair, order block, whatever you want to call it. I don't care, all same difference as far as I'm concerned. Y'all know me, I'm here about teaching the overall point. I don't care what you call it. I can give 2 shits. I think then this is why price closed the gap and stopped. So it now is a question of Fatima, or we're going to take this out or turn around, which I think is what you saw, which is why you're a little worried about your puts.
Yes.
So again, this is what I told you. This is great practice. It's a great opportunity. Don't focus on the puts. This is great practice because where are you at for puts? Let me get all numbers for you to help walk you through how we're going to think through this, because I don't want you so focused on closing out the puts that you miss the opportunity to just make a good trade, right? Like if it's lost, it's lost. And sometimes if you're in the better trade, make up all them profits so fast, it'll be like you weren't even in that trade. So you're in Adobe, you know your strikes.
I think it's, let me see. I want to say I did it right at the gap, which I was supposed to get out, but I got so busy that I didn't even take.
So I don't use stop losses, but I always put in a take profit order. I always put in a take profit order, because if price gets there and say you forget or you get busy or something, you at least want to get your money, not, you know what I mean?
That's my, I am at 495, which is where it is.
But now you have theta that just kicked your butt. What's your expiration date?
Friday, the 20,
Okay,
I mean, the 23rd.
okay. So we can say this. This is actually not the worst. We gotta see. Yeah, I understand your concern, because Adobe is notorious for doing a $10 move overnight.
I know. That's what I'm scared. I like the futures tomorrow. It's going to be something tonight. And
I think so. If the futures keeps coming down like like I think it is, because you have two fair value gaps underneath coming down on the futures, and if we keep coming down, and Adobe will essentially make this move in the background, right? We won't actually see it, but it'll like come down and come. But Adobe doesn't always follow the futures, so the SPY follows the futures to the T. But Adobe is a rebel stock. If you can even look over here to the option chain, it's the only one that's green outside of a few more. Everything else is heavily red. and yes, price still came down for Adobe, but because it started so high, it was still able to close green. So my point is, it does what it wants. So I don't have a lot of faith in it coming down too much longer. I want so badly for you, Fatima, for it to come down and like finish the whole gap. So I'm on the 15-minute now. And now we'll be bringing it down to 493. So write down 493 somewhere. If you can get out there or use what you need to calculate the premium to get out there, then I would get out there. And then
493, if I can get there.
But if not, if you miss it, just miss it. Don't do a whole like, oh, just try to control your thoughts and focus on don't worry about getting out, because losing sometimes does something to the brain. So Sadie, go to bed. So if you close it out, right? Sometimes you get this feeling of like, oh, I like really lost that money because you executed the close. If you let it rock for whatever it just depends on the situation. Of course, we'll all be here Tuesday, so I'll help walk you through it to figure out, because I want to play Adobe now that it's back out of its inflated area, and so I'm gonna be eyeing it right there with you. So it's, if price did something crazy like jump up, you want to now just focus on getting in the next best Adobe move. Don't put any attention on closing out that put. Just put all your attention on getting the next best Adobe move. And once you've locked that position in, if they give it to us or not on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it gives it to us, you remember that. I mean, they give it to us when we want it, but whenever it gives it to us, focus on that and just let it, like, and then get out of the second one. Because I'm not saying just ignore it, but you could definitely close it out. I just know from my personal experience, I can get so caught up on trying to close out a trade that's already bleeding too much anyway. It's like, it's one thing if you're managing a trade that's like losing, say, 100 or less, and you're trying to like manage that loss to be like less than 100. But if you're already down 200, okay, being down 250 is not gonna change much. You need to focus your attention on getting in the next best move to make up that 250 versus worrying about, oh, let me get 230 down versus 250. That's a waste of your time. You're already down $200. Does that
So you should-
mental process make sense?
It makes sense, but my question, are you supposed to get out then?
So I get out after I enter my profitable position is what I've been doing lately. Is
No, but when you are losing, like I'm not right now. I'm an Adobe. I do have profit in it. I just haven't closed it. You know what I mean? So I'm worried that I wake up on Tuesday and it's like it's lost the profit, and then I am in red. I'm not going to think like that. Whatever happens, it's 1100, like the two puts. We'll see.
So could you ask me like, when do I close out?
No, when you're losing 200, when
Mhm.
you are in the red, like 200, 250, and you said, forget about thinking about the money that you lost. You
Mhm.
have to think about the best thing you can do to get in to get your money back, the
Mhm.
best trade. So are you saying go ahead and close that position and then do the other, or do you just leave it and
I
then
just
find
leave it. I literally leave it. I like force myself to leave it. And then I just focus on the next best position, because if I'm right on the next best position, I can close out that losing trade where it won't even feel like I lost.
Okay.
Because if I close it out while I feel like I lost, and maybe hopefully, Tiffany, can you kind of break down what I'm trying to get at that's happening in psychology? Because it's like when you close out the loss first, it's like this feeling of like, I lost comes over. So because you've executed those losses, and it's hard sometimes to get back in once you realize, like, I realized these losses, versus just let it sit. Because if you're a David Ramsey fan, you don't lose until you sell.
Right.
So if you keep that mentality, then it's like, well, I ain't lose yet because I ain't sell. I ain't lose because I ain't sell. So I'm gonna get into a profitable position. I'm winning. Now I close out my losing trade, and it's like, well, I didn't lose because my profit, my account looks green. So I never go through this. I realized losses. That psychology never hit because I didn't close out the losses. I hope that's making sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It really does. The only thing for me, it's like, okay, so it's losing trade. Should I continue losing in it, or
No,
should
you
I?
can't. No. It's not about continuing losing, because you gotta remember, you can only lose so much. There's a max loss on that.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing that helped me, is when I started to remember, well, Randy, you're not gonna bleed to infinity. You're only gonna bleed to however much you pay for the premium. So if you only pay $97, you're like, oh, should I keep bleeding? Well, you're only gonna bleed to 97. That's it. You're not gonna bleed anything else.
Adobe is not 97.
Well, it's not, but here's the thing. If you're trading more than you're willing to risk to lose, then that's bad trading pattern right there, habit that you need to stop. Because you need to only put in what you're willing to completely lose. Because then it doesn't matter if it's bleeding, because like that's how I was able to double down last week. And SPY came down. Now, one thing I did do, made sure I didn't do, was look at my P&L when Powell was talking and price was just running down. I didn't look at it because I would have got out if I did. And I knew it was like inflation and all of this with the news. So that's why I did that. But under normal circumstances, it's, you get in a losing trade. I know that say I paid $200 for this premium. I know I will lose no more than $200. That's why I don't care if it's already at $200, shit. Like, or if it's already at 150, well, I'm only gonna lose 50 more anyway. Why worry when it's already that close to my max profit, versus just focusing on getting it back, or not even getting it back, just focus on the next best trade. I almost like ignore it, because if you can just stay on the right side of money more and not like put so much emotion behind the losing one and accept that losses just kind of happen, then it makes it easier. So it's something you got to kind of sit with the team. I can't really like, there's
No, I know
no
what
secret sauce.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
I think
I need to, yeah.
go ahead, because I think after enough times that you painfully do that to your mind, you eventually get exhausted and you stop.
I think that's what I guess I'm going to have to learn to do. What's the word? Like you said, you have to only spend what you're willing to lose. But then I would never get to Adobe. Adobe is kind of expensive.
Then you wait. There's accounts that I don't like. I have an account that I can't trade Adobe in either. I can only trade SPY. Right. So you're either coming out of the money more, which is always a risk in itself, or you're trading what you can afford. And there is something that you can afford.
Right.
So,
Or you do a debit spread like Tanza said, because I did that too yesterday. I mean Friday. I did an Adobe debit spread too.
I don't know how to do that. I know those things kind of scare me, because I remember doing them on the sim, and next thing you know, I was like, I guess because it was on the sim, I'm sometimes busy working, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay,
right.
it's not good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do debit, I listened to you guys talking about it. Debit spread, it's like vertical. It's just you buy,
Yep.
and you buy and you go towards the price.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's a debit spread and a credit spread are verticals. That's what a vertical is. And depending on whether you're buying or selling, changes the name from debit to credit.
Right.
And so because of that difference between buying and selling is also going to differ how price is going. So if you're selling, right, selling is always like an inverse to me. You really got to get your brain to switch. But as far as buying it, you're basically treating them like your single leg option, right? You're going to buy in the direction that you want price to go.
So which one is the shorter leg?
The one that you're buying, not the one that you're selling.
Selling.
So in a credit spread, the one that you're selling is your short leg, and a
Short
debit
leg.
spread, the one that you're buying is a short leg.
Okay. I'm very confused. I have to watch more videos about that.
You understand the credit spreads though, right?
No, I don't know any of them. I only know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We can because if you understand at least the credit spread from what Terry was explaining, then it's just getting your mind to flip properly. And you just got to do it a couple of times, the flipping, before the debit spread starts to make sense.
Yeah, she was like buying and saying that is different. That's more like you don't want the price to go, you don't want it to go to get to, you kind of saying, okay, I'm buying this or I'm selling because I know for sure this is not going to get here, not going to get to the price or something. So the main thing for that was, from what I remember, is you don't want it to reach your price. No?
For credit spreads, you
For
don't.
credit spreads, right? That's right.
For credit.
When you're selling,
right?
When you're so if we were selling the SPX, because I only do this for the SPX. Y'all are bold. I mean, I try to get them because of Tanza, but I still don't trust doing these things outside of the SPX. Me personally, Tiffany, I don't know how you feel, but I don't really care to do debit spreads.
I don't
either. The
either.
tickers.
I don't either, but I did try it on Adobe on Friday.
Yeah, I agree. I did too. And I see how it works. But if I was really gonna do them, I still think I would do them on the SPX. But either way, so listen to the SPX. If we were doing a credit spread, Fatima.
Mm-hmm.
Be selling. So if we did a credit spread, I gotta get specific, don't I? If we were doing a call credit spread, that means we'll be selling a call. And when you're selling a call, you want price to go down, because when you're buying a call, you want price to go up, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So when you're buying a call, you want price to go up. So if you're in a vertical, you're selling the call on a credit spread, you're selling the call, so you think your price is going to go down. So
Mhm.
credit spread, you're picking strikes that are, if you're picking strikes basically up here at the top, because
Yeah,
you're
above
betting price
your
to come down
to calm down.
because of
Uh-huh.
the inverse of it. Now in a
Yeah.
debit spread, okay, we can buy a put debit spread to also go down. So you're either going to sell a call credit spread to take advantage of this move, or you're going to buy a put debit spread to take it down.
Okay.
Right, and that's what I did on Friday. I bought a put.
Okay. You
Does that
bought
help a little bit?
Adobe? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So can you buy them separated? You buy the first one and then you do just like an option. Um,
I've never entered a vertical that way, and I'm actually too scared to enter a vertical separate leg like that. I don't know how it'll even register as a vertical if you don't actually change your spread on the option change or vertical.
I know, I have
You'll
no
end
idea.
up being
That's
in
why
like a straddle situation, right? If it's how
that doesn't matter. I'm not ready for that. I
you
think
don't have to.
it's really
No
like
worries, Patina. We're gonna get you out of Adobe first. We're gonna work on the just the single leg swing and getting the order sets. Because yesterday Friday you definitely should have took profit with no problem. And I wish I was able to come back and send you that print, because it's the math. And if you're not on trading, if you're not on
on
desktop, then
my phone, I can't
yeah.
see anything. And I
You can't-
knew it was getting to that, and I knew it was getting to that. And I was like, oh, you know what? It's going. I'm just going to give it a little time. And next thing you know, it was 4 o'clock.
Mhm. I even tried to go as far as looking up an app. I'm like, there's got to be a way. Because instead of just like executing at that alert from the phone, the computer is definitely the most ideal. But
Yes.
most traders that are really trading are sitting here at the computer, day trading.
Exactly.
Because that you calculated, because all you needed, Fatima, was the premium of where to get out, and you could have set that order and forgot it.
Yep.
And then we wouldn't be in this situation.
I know. I think that's my problem, because I don't know how to do it 100% on an option, like exactly. So what I do is like, I have to work on that. I really have to just look how they do it and just see because you have to do the math. It's not
You have
exactly.
to do the math. That the problem is you
Mhm.
have to do the math. And I'm not saying you can't do the. I just gotta come up with the equation, because it's not everything I've researched before, unless somebody beat me to the punch, or meaning one of y'all. I can't find it. Everything I'm finding is still like, you got to do the intrinsic versus the extrinsic. It's not. I gotta break it down. I'm working on it, because because for me to trade, like I really want to trade, I'm gonna need the equation too. So,
yeah,
got
you
to be
told me
way.
to set that take profit on the phone, you mean?
Yes. When you
Yeah.
set your stop loss, or
Mm-hmm.
no, like where you wanted to stop, and you set it on the phone with the options. It does two numbers. The one that is usually how it's changing while it's going up or down, and then the
Mhm.
one that's in a little circle. It's always like, okay, if it's I watched a lot of videos, and it says if you want to set it up like this, let's say it shows 8, it's 80 or 90 or 9, you make it where you wanted to. If it goes back, you want to leave it like at, let's say it's 9, that little number, and you want to make it into 10% or 20% and it stop. I don't put stop because it's always stopping me out and it's like nothing. So I don't do stop loss. Then at the same time, I don't know how to set where I want it to be to take a profit. It's really hard to calculate exactly.
It is. And the thing of the desktop gives us a cheat. And I don't know why the phone doesn't give us that same.
Right. Yeah. I have to use my desktop in order to put the order in on the phone. Because I can't
Okay.
there's nowhere on the phone right now to do it.
That's exactly like if I was doing it from the computer, it would be so much easier. But I am at work with iPad or a phone. Even the iPad doesn't really do much because it's like a phone to me.
No, it is. I've had the same issue. It's just oh, you got me burning, Fatima. I'm figuring this out tonight. I am not gonna be able to sleep. because I understand it. If I'm not at home, in any situation I'm not at home, I have the same issue. And I set alerts on the chart and I'm executing it by hand, but it's not the ideal. The ideal is to have that calculation and to set the order in there. And because price triggers so quick in the blink of an eye, and you don't know what anybody could be doing. I mean, shit, you could like have to pee when price just hits the mark, and it's better to have it already sitting in there. I'm gonna figure this out like today. I'm not kidding, because this is making that's the only reason y'all are really losing, I think, because I think a lot of y'all overall understand the candlestick patterns. It's just this finesse with the premiums that is making it challenging to get out.
I think for me, I don't know that much of that. It's also, Randy, you know, it's much easier to be looking at a computer, like looking at your platform and looking at mine. I mean, of course, it's not the same, but it makes sense. It's like you're looking at them and it makes sense where you should stop or where you turn in or where you might, the price would struggle and do a retrace back. But when you're doing it with the phone, it's really hard to really be able to tell. I know that what is it? CT, whatever. He said he never trades on a phone.
Yeah. I mean, I think your heavy hitters aren't, to be honest. Like, you know, here's the thing that I would recommend to you. If you like TradingView, I would do my homework on a computer, like, you know, Sunday schools. If you're here, you know, and you are able to be on your computer, like, set up your charts on your computer. Do what I've done. I've deleted it all, but I've oftentimes gone in here and drawn my lines, and I've added like notes here and said, like, you know, top of 2 hour tweezer, right, or something like that, right? So therefore it's there, okay? And then your chart set up, because once you save it on your computer and you log it on your phone, the TradingView chart is going to be exactly the way you left it, okay? And so now you have all your levels. So now you're just watching price. So you got to do your homework first. So therefore, when you're in the shop, you could just watch price. And then we're going to get this math problem down. Because if you know where price is going, you could do math prior to. So you say, okay, this is my range. And I can get kind of like at least a estimate. So all you need to be is within 50 cents of a range with your math premium for price to trigger. So we can work on something like that, and we can, you know, get it in there if you're not on your, you know, computer. Because I'm almost like, yeah, I may have to buy another small little laptop just so the desktop version can be on the go with me, because this is for me the most, I'm profitable because of that little cheat that's on the desktop. I promise you.
Yeah, well, it's good. I guess that's, if you're a trader, you're supposed to be on them and sitting there working on it. If you're good with all the platforms, then you can do it from anywhere. Like Terry, she did stuff on her phone, she did this. but she's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, no, I don't, and again, I'm not as familiar with TradeStation to know if they have something similar, like tricks. I think it really does come down to knowing your like the platform and how to work it, so you can really capitalize off of the most of the move, you know. So I want to address, because Shanika asked a question a couple minutes ago about Adobe's double top. Shanika, what was that? And you were trying to confirm where it, if it's done its run up and it's coming all the way down or something like that. You know, it was a 15-minute. Okay. I'm like, what are you looking at? Or are you still talking to me? I don't know. Y'all are going in on chat. I'm not sure what the conversation is mine. Okay, so Edge, what are y'all talking about? So okay, Timmy, I don't know the difference between a stop loss and a stop limit. Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's Jean. Jean was asking about her platform on Fidelity, and she put a screenshot in there to
see it.
Yeah, and I don't know what the different, like why they have those different ones in there.
So the stop loss is a market order and the stop limit is a limit order.
Oh, so why they just don't say stop market? Like, okay. All right. And so
I think it's just that simple, because I'm looking at her screenshot. Do you see it? Do you, because this is the only two stops I see, because if it was a stop market, it would say stop market instead of stop loss. Do you have a third one that says stop market as well? Because then if that's the case, then it's like, oh God, but the stop loss should be the market order. Yeah, because if you don't have a one that says market, then that's it.
she said there is a market order.
There's a market order and limit order too that says stop. Damn, but that is making things difficult. That's too much. I agree. So there's a market order and limit without stop. Limit order is to take profit, but she has a stop. No, okay. Yes, a limit order is just to take profit. So if it's just limit, that's going to be your take profit order. Anything that has the stop before is going to be a loss, right? So you're assuming that you're being stopped out against the direction of where you're expecting price to go. So it's either going to be two options: a stop market or a stop limit. And it usually, and I've seen some interesting things in the bracket order that makes it a little more confusing, but I can go over that if you're talking about brackets specifically, but that should be the only. So it'd be limit order, that's your take profit. Stop loss should be your market stop. Stop limit should be your like variable, you know, in a range stop limit. Your trailing stop, I hate trailing stop. I know how they work, but I hate them. I hate trailing stops. Because if you don't get them suckers exactly right, you can get stopped out. I don't like them. No problem, Jean. So I think hopefully that clears it up. Again, you can always, you know, my philosophy is always press the button as them. Figure it out. Okay, just send another screenshot. So we got stop, limit. Yeah, that should be your, okay. I think we're good. All right. So Fatima was looking, I mean, not Fatima, Trinika. I was looking at the 15-minute, and I'm assuming you were looking at this M looking pattern on Adobe. But the gap here, I want to believe that Fatima, you got $2 more in this gap from the 15-minute. I want to believe that it wants to come down here before it turns back around. We got $2 more. No matter how it wants to do it and like what it's going to open as, because Adobe don't be playing with these big openings. So, but again, if it does a big opening, just get in on the big opening and ride the big opening and make up your losses. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. All right. What is limit order day margin? All right, Gina, you good? Or are you still just, I'm confused. I'm still getting screenshots. I'm trying to figure out. I'll make sure your questions are answered, love. Okay. All right. Let's get through the rest of these tickers and kind of get an idea for what the market is doing. So I'm gonna start with my summer list. Too many choices. Yeah, it is too many choices. I agree, Gene. You just I see it. Market order, limit order, stop loss, stop limit. That I wouldn't mess with that market order button. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't touch that one. I would literally, that's crazy. But I guess that will be a market take profit order. A market take profit order, and then your limit take profit order, and then your stop loss order, your stop loss market order, and then your stop loss limit order. Blah, blah, blah. Y'all got it? This is awful. I didn't design this thing, y'all. I didn't. I promise you. If it was up to me, it'd be a lot easier. All right. So let's look at my summer list. Let's go down. My summer list is a summer list because it's my tickers that have an ATR of 7 or more. All right. For those who like big day moves like myself, because I have impatient, I'm just impatient, just naturally impatient. So Lily, that's right. Lily's not that old. So Lily has just been all the way up on the up on some exponential type of trend pattern right here. So Lily looks like it wants to continue to make more all-time highs, and I have no problem with that. I think I was going to buy a call and kind of let it ride out while I do that. And then until I see a candle pattern to do the retracement, and I'll get out. And I think that's how I'm going to play Lily and Apple. Lily moves faster than Apple. Apple's not on my summer list because it moves slow. But Apple is at the top. It came down. I think I bought in a little too, got excited here. So I'm bleeding just a bit, but I bought about a month of time. I know Apple's up here in all-time high territory. I am not afraid to trade all-time highs, just trying to figure out how I want to take advantage of it. So when I saw this break up above this wick, I felt that, yeah, price may retrace, but I think it'll overall, with this whole AI tech boom thing, prices for the tech companies are going to just continue to slowly trail upwards. So I took that bet on Apple because Apple is a slow mover and I won't lose a lot of money really fast on it. If I'm wrong, or if I don't like the way it's feeling, I can get out and save myself without too much harm, in comparison to Lily, which it moves way more. Just way more. The ATR on Lily is not $8, $9. It's done a little bit more than that on some days, but Apple is more like a $3. So Lily, I'm thinking to buy and hold long as it continues to run up here as well, since it finally came for this wick and dropped back down. I wanted the wick up, but I was paying attention to too many other things, so I missed it. So no worries. So it came down, so now I need to continue back up. So we'll see. I'll buy some time there. Netflix is looking like it may potentially want its gap that's down here as part of its retracement move if the market continues to dip a little bit. But of course, we needed to break this line. On the daily, I am marking at the bottom of the base, but overall, we needed to clear this wick because, of course, if I come down to the 2-hour, there it is. And so it actually holds true from the daily to the 2-hour, which is nice. I love it when it does that, even better. So this is gonna, we gotta let it come down, bounce, and then maybe we have a gap move. Depending on how it wants to react on this level, we may have a small up move, but I don't trade Netflix as aggressively. I just kind of look for the gap moves if they're available to take. Lulu I'm just done with Lulu. Look at this shit. I can't look at what the fuck. I didn't even look at Lulu left. Do y'all see this? For those who were here last week looking at Lulu, what is going on? So, I got in a little late because I didn't realize it had this big gap. So I got in around here thinking it'll come down. Once I got the memo that you did not want to come down, and made it very clear very quickly that you did not want to continue down any further, I got on out. I did not get in to go up because I wasn't sure about this gap here. As you can clearly see, it's 2020 hindsight. It took that gap and did some more. and I just been leaving Lulu alone. So that would have been a nice run up for sure. I mean, Lulu did the damn thing, but I'm still learning how Lulu flows in order for me to like take advantage of some of these Lulu. So this is fairly new trading Lulu for me. So, but that's the moves you have. I don't know where it's going to go anywhere further. We're at the top. I do kind of believe it may want to blow through these previous highs, just because it's hit 1, hit 2, almost hit 3 basically, and now we have a bacon candle on the other side here. So for this one, all right, so this is a different. Randy, where would you put the lines? Because the fair value gap is small and the wick is so far into the bacon and it's just an ugly candlestick pattern. I agree with you 100%. So your fair value gap is stopping at 394. Best believe price will probably bounce there. And so if you think and believe that it's going to get up to at least there, your entry would be now if you want a decent risk to reward. Betting on the rest of this candle, don't move too fast. Okay, because how much this candle has come down into it, don't move too fast. You really want to wait until you get a break on the upside past this fair value gap to know if it wants to finish out the bacon candle. Now I'm gonna mark the top of the base of this big candle on the daily, because we definitely know with this much room on the daily, we got some stuff in here on the 2 hour. So let's take a look and let's see what Lulu has in store for us over here in that range. So now let's look at the 2 hour candle. So this is the 2 hour that we can play a little bit more. Our fair value gap now comes here. So this was one, so we definitely need the break, because as you can see from the 2 hour, look at where the line is. It's right in the chop area. So that means we definitely need the 394 to break up if it's going to continue the rest of this candle. It's literally telling you that price may stop right here at this level because of this chair. And once it breaks, it'll go up, and then now you have the next, I don't know why it's not really showing, but there is one here. Okay, fair value gap here to here, and you can play to now this wick, still not going up to 410, because this is a hard bet. We got, I mean, this candle doesn't even have a wick at the top of it, y'all. Like, the sellers are in control. Don't ignore that. It's large, it's big, it's great, but it doesn't have any candle wicks on either side. It means it's a Matabutsu and the sellers are in control. So it's going to take the buyer some push to break through. So just keep that in mind there for Lulu. If you want Lulu, if you want a little bit more up on Lulu. All right, so right now you got to 394. I thought I put that line there, but I guess it went away. We'll come back to it. All right, NVIDIA. Oh, NVIDIA. I just want to buy more calls. Just think the way this pattern looks, it doesn't even look, NVIDIA doesn't even look right now like it wants to turn around and do a retracement. NVIDIA's just like, no, we're just gonna keep going. And that from the weekly, from the daily, it has a little bit of a retracement sign, but this is still bullish. So to me, this doesn't even seem like a drop retracement, more like a consolidation chop, potentially, with the way these fair value gaps look and the way this formation formed. And I expect price to turn right back around and continue to climb. I don't really see, until some different news comes out with NVIDIA, why NVIDIA would stop going up. Overall, like, yeah, it'll do a retracement, but I think overall it has every reason to climb. So it does it. Like, you know, sure. PANW. All right. It came down and filled this gap. We played that nicely. It's been running up since, and I have not been looking at it since. So anybody who has been, congrats, because it is up there. It's an all-time high. Yeah, it is. All right. These NASDAQ companies, I told y'all, just running up. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at, 1 second, Jay. I'm gonna go ahead and look at actually these option contracts too, to kind of see based on the candles what I can play here. It has a $7 ATR, so we can give you some change pretty quickly. Just kind of drop down to the 2 hour and see. Oh, and the 2 hour is not even giving me a good retracement. It's giving me cradle swing J type patterns, but because we're at a high, it can turn into, because I've seen this before, it looks like a J until it doesn't. It can totally turn into an M and do the retracement down to this stair level here, right?
What is that ladder?
What?
Oh, it is.
Okay. So then, so that's kind of the move. I see nothing but bulls in control. I mean, I know this is a pin, but this is looking like it wants to like take off. We'll just kind of eye it and see what overall pattern it wants to continue to do. But right now, it looks like it's constantly testing the top to potentially break through that top. But we'll see.
Mommy,
Yes, Jane.
want to try some of my pops?
All right. And HD, for the HD lovers out there, let's look at Home Depot. All right, so this is the move I want. Home Depot is slowly snaking his way up to this gap. And I want this little $6 or so right here. So, but this wick is making me nervous. Get this up. Then 2 hour. Let's look at this range. See that wick? That wick, man. This wick is the reason. Okay, so we hit the base. This is the base of it here. So that's why price has been beaten up against it at 305. Now to close just the wick is 307 to 308-ish. And then to finish it off, HD just moves so slow for me. I'm learning patience. You know, the baby boomers in the crib got more patience than these millennials, but it is what it is. With the exception of a few, y'all just got more patience. So I would really want the wick to close. So that's here. And then if price potentially didn't make it to the full gap, and this candle wick right here was a hindrance, then how much money I have? I have a $5 move, being super, super conservative on the trade about it. I like that because I don't love HD. So I'm gonna go hella conservative and I'm gonna take wick to wick in the gap. $5 is enough for me and scale my position. So I'll take that HD call. Can you say excuse me?
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. All right, I just want one. Which one you want? This one?
Yeah.
That's a fail. If I can get out without breaking it. I think I broke it. Did you put enough? I don't think you didn't fill this up all the way. That's why. It's not full. You're gonna have to restart. Go fix them. All right. Yeah, you gotta fill it up. I guess all right, basically. Go fix it. And let me finish the call, please. Thank you guys for being patient. Popsicles didn't freeze like they're supposed to freeze because she didn't fill it up all the way. Oh, it's okay. She was looking for it in the popsicles too. Just kind of like, man, I gotta do it again. Yes, attention to details, everything, little biscuit, and you're gonna learn that lesson. All right. So I love Home Depot right now for this move. I like it. I like it a lot. I actually think I want to send an alert on this double top here. So if the candles look good, I can get in early.
So that's a call. You're trying to do a call on it?
Yeah, I would do a call on Home Depot. Home Depot doesn't give me bearish vibes. Anybody else that watches Home Depot?
Hey, Randy. Yeah.
Would you?
Hey, Randy. Yeah, I
Hey.
actually. Hey, Randy. Oh, hey. So I agree with you. I think Home Depot wants to go up. I've been waiting for this gap above 305. I feel like lady in waiting at this point. It's ridiculous. But Home Depot has had a lot of resistance, and I think part of it is this whole hilarity over the interest rates, right? Because that just makes people scared to buy a house. And and the strength of the retail client. So a lot of the outside noise affects Home Depot a great deal. Some of the yellow folders that don't necessarily affect anybody else, like housing starts and building permits, tend to move Home Depot. So that's Tuesday morning. And then existing home sales, I believe, is Thursday morning. So we're going to have, I think that this week will give us an opportunity to ride Home Depot, if nothing else, from here where we are, to challenge the 305, right? Like on a day trade level, and in the crib, like we can talk about that and on the days and see if we get movement. But I agree with you 100%. If we can break above that 308, we'll probably see a good run up, try to get to that 312. We're gonna need market momentum to be like, party like it's 1999 though.
Because it can't
you're
just
right, it
be
doesn't move that
Adobe. I mean,
fast.
and Adobe. It can't just
No,
be
right. Can't just be
in
Adobe,
the
right.
housing on its own. Like the NASDAQ and the futures. And
Yes,
they have
yes.
to be
And the
moving.
S&P, the S&P's got to be running, and there's got to be no whispers about bank failures and no, right? Like nothing that affects the housing market. No whisper. Well, the other thing that we have to bear in mind, Home Depot, this week we're also getting retail sales. That might very well also give us a little push for Home Depot. And all of the Fed shares are testifying in front of Congress. So shit could get really real on Wednesday if Congress decides that they don't like what they hear. So who knows? It could be it's a short week. That's always really dangerous too. I find that short weeks are, I lost a ton of money when y'all were on vacation, so I'm not doing that again. So I think we need to see what happens. But I like this particular trade a lot for this week.
I agree. And it left us with the W last week. So
Right.
the fact that, this is a 2 hour, so this is all of like last few days of last week. And it left us a nice little cutesy little W right here that is trying to, clear this little fair value gap and may continue on, but it's kind of ugly. I don't love it, but it's there if you guys can see it. And that's a telltale sign that, it's getting ready to take that gap. So
yeah. I would say the other one we should look at too, in comparison to Home Depot, is Caterpillar. I made a little money on Thursday with Caterpillar, and that was fun. So it also moves fast enough for this strategy, for the day trading strategy. So
the 7.
What do you think?
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's chart CAT. I love how you guys are guiding the tickers today. Okay. So I'm assuming the options on this is pretty affordable.
Yeah, they actually are. Let's see. Tell us where we're going, and I will tell you what the options cost.
Okay. Sticky zone. Y'all playing CAT.
But that's what happened. It was falling out of a sell zone. And if you're going straight to IWT, that little green doji below that fair value gap, right? And then it hit that fair value gap, and it did not like it at all.
It's eliminated.
I agree. And did not like it. So now, it turned hard. I don't
Yeah.
go low. Well, I don't know. I don't have enough
I don't know.
information to know yet. How?
Well, and if you look at it on a daily chart, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles ago, it gapped up. So I don't know look at that nonsense. So that could very well be a place where we come back to that 242 and challenge that 241, 242.
The 242 is definitely the first one. And the fact that this is looking kind of exhausted as well is like,
and who knows what's going to happen if we're not trading tomorrow, but everybody else in the world is. So who knows what Tuesday's going to look like. Yeah.
Now, CAT to me is giving more bearish cues than anything. It still isn't, but because it hasn't closed below any low, so I don't have any confirmation that it's actually bearish until it's further down here. And
I agree.
243, and if I don't, as long as it stays above 243, it's not bearish. I'll say that.
Okay.
As long as it doesn't go below 243, maybe 241. Like if it doesn't break the bottom gap, which is the 240, then it's gonna probably stay bullish, and not go completely bearish. And It's ugly zone, and it's up in everything's by these peaks right here, man, like consistently. And it's a short.
It's really
week, like you're
weird.
saying. No,
Yeah.
everything lines up. Look, I'm a big believer of the universe is aligned on these things. Okay?
Hey, we just had 5 planets line up last night, right?
That's what
Like,
I'm
so that's
saying.
just some creepy shit now. It's twice this year. That hasn't happened in like 100 years. It's very crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Very afraid.
So
Yeah.
I just pay attention to the stars in the sky, and it's just like right now, I expect next week to be a tight range week. And we
Right.
may
I
get
agree.
one good candle to get some money out of it. But I don't.
A girl can dream.
And where that one good candle is,
I don't know.
It may not be on the SPY. It may be in
Right.
It may be.
Yeah, I'm afraid of
CAC.
SPY. I did really well. Yeah, I did really well with SPY. I'm so grateful for you guys on Thursday. But honestly, Friday, I was so glad I wasn't trading because
Yes, I agree.
I was terrified. I was terrified.
If you look at,
and I think Wednesday's going to screw us because Powell's talking to Congress, and depending on who he's talking to, their questions tend to, sometimes the market tends to overreact.
and
Just
that's
a
why I
little
think
bit.
it's a tight week, because even so this was a SPY, and if you really look at the SPY last week, y'all, okay, this is Monday. This didn't make you want to trade because you weren't sure if you were really coming out of the zone yet. So then Tuesday happened, it gapped up, which was great, but then it was small as hell. So like, what could you do with a full, price range of literally $2.88, like $2.44? Like, that's so tight, right? So you would just, and then on Wednesday you did doji. That didn't help. So we only had Thursday as a decent, significant profitable candle, because Friday was okay, but it was a quick one. All this
But last week is great evidence of the fact that we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that SPY might not be our best trade over the summer.
Right.
Like as far as our looking for our $3 move, we might have to go back to the tickers, like we've said. So
yeah, the tickers I think are going to have more. I'm not saying the SPY has no opportunities, but you're really waiting on that opportunity with SPY. So for instance, the best opportunity to me, you could have traded Monday's candle if you had the conviction, but I know some of us entering the week, you're trying to get a feel for what the week is. So excuse Monday, and looking from the past like 2 weeks or so, beginning of June, this is all chops. This is hard. I lost money because of playing in this week. And then this is not a great move. This is a questionable move. These two aren't great moves. And then this is your next best move. So if your last best move was between like June 1st and June 2nd, then you waited a bit, almost 2 weeks, for the next best move on the ETFs, right? Versus Adobe was fucking killing it out here, just leaving everybody in the ghost, gapping up overnight, giving you all sorts of $10 moves here and there. The problem with last week is that it was inflated and way too expensive to trade because of earnings. And again, so you're waiting. Now you got to find, this is why you have a watch list of at least 5 tickers, because now you got to go to another ticker and figure out what's going to be your move for what looks like it's moving for the week. And I ain't gonna lie to you, right now so far, Home Depot look like the best move for next week. If we get an impulsive one, it may be Home Depot, because that may give us the best risk to reward, because everything else is hitting up zones. Home Depot is the only one I'm going to get. I'm not gonna say the only, probably some other ones in here, but so far when we went down the list, it's the only one that's close to the gap. You get what I'm saying? Closer to it, that could turn around and do it. It's, I don't know, looks a little more favorable to me than some of these others, but we'll take it in stride. Let's take a look at AMD, because I want to see what AMD is doing. AMD looks like that's crazy, because NVIDIA is really running up a little bit more than what AMD is looking like. This looks like it won't potentially until it doesn't, right? So it needs to break 415 before I'm convinced it wants 115 before I'm convinced it wants 108. Because this looks very M-ish from the daily perspective too. So I wouldn't be surprised if this drops. But again, it could surprise us as far as where it wants to run to, but as far as the upside goes, it just doesn't have, I mean, this is pretty choppy looking. It's kind of hard to read right now. So I'm not convinced that AMD wants up either. Home Depot's the only bull one. Again, you know, you play what side you feel most comfortable with. Some of us are better bull players. Some of us are better bear players. I think that's it, y'all. Y'all got any other tickers kind of burning y'all heart? That really may have a move. Starbucks. No, it's not really a move. This is a move. But now you gotta come through this gap, and then you gotta come here. Below $3, and it looks very W-ish. So we got, but it really needs to, like, I think it tested it up against the gap on Friday, kind of got rejected. So now we just have to see what the sentiment of the market is. And if so Starbucks looks pretty good. This big candle here. It's at least a little $3, but it's like a more guaranteed $3, not like a choppy $3. Of course, you got to come into 2 hour and take a look. So that's from daily. So it's, you know, maybe a little bit chop. It just all depends on the momentum. Starbucks moves about $1.60 a day, so you'll be holding this one for a little bit. So buy more time. If the ATR is less, buy more time. I would say if you were really depending on the move you're looking at. Meta, I don't know who's playing Meta. I don't really, you know, it finally did that gap. Damn, I did not see any alert. So I guess Meta did that gap move. Totally missed it. I was not focused on Meta these past 2 weeks, like at all. And I clearly don't have any alerts that are left on here because I totally charted this. I meant to put an alert right here and did not. So that's my bad because I should have wrote that whole thing up. And now I'm definitely not getting into it because that's pretty much a gap close. I guess it still has a little bit more, but I wanted it to basically where it's at. This dip that happened down here is where I better ran to. Damn, I'm mad I missed that over the past few weeks. You can't catch them all. You just can't catch them all. Plus, it's choppy, small candles. Now I'm zooming in, it's like little bits. So I don't know. It would have been hard because I probably would have got right here, but like, no, it's coming down because there's too many. Yeah, I probably would have got out right here. These rejection candles. So yeah, who knows? It may have been best for my nerves to not trade that one. Microsoft. Let's clear this chart. Yeah, and that is a good thing to note. Esther, ATRs can change a little bit, right? So, and usually we're looking at things that are floating around like the 6 because they'll range like $7 or $8 ATR, definitely like a 5 or more, maybe limit. But anything other than that is gonna be slow. So Microsoft, we could trade. Microsoft kind of up there with Adobe, or is it a little less? I haven't did an options contract on Microsoft in a few months. I don't remember. I know it's not too bad, but they're not cheap. I'm not supposed to, I wouldn't put Microsoft in the cheap options category. So as I'm moving between time frames here, I see the bearish pullback.
So for comparison's sake, the Friday expiration on Microsoft at 337.50 put, it's $2 a share.
Okay.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I thought it was more than that. I don't know why I thought it was floating around like $500 or something. Or maybe I just in the money or a certain amount of time or something like that.
Yeah. That's with a 0.29 delta too.
What'd you put in that lemonade?
I just put it with my Pascal to taste better. Want to put it in your TikTok?
Hold on, guys.
All right, I know she probably already. Hi guys, I know Randy.
Tanja made it in here in the last 5. Leave the Tanja in her trades. The last 5 minutes of the market.
Right. I took my baby daddy to the restaurant. It's Father's Day. I took my baby daddy to the restaurant.
No, it's totally fine. I thought I said the same thing. I was like, I probably should have canceled. I wasn't sure, but I stayed because I was like, well, we have today and then we have tomorrow's event. I was like, whoever can't make tomorrow can probably make today. So I left it. So I expected some people to be out with dads and grandpas and whatever.
Yeah,
Hi,
I got a good baby daddy, so.
So we haven't been doing too much extensive charting, because we know that the futures is going to trade tomorrow, even though the stock market's not going to trade tomorrow.
Okay,
We can't really like put a move when we know the futures is about to do something between like tonight and all tomorrow.
I was about to say the future's gonna,
Tuesday.
right, the future's gonna start tonight as well, right? In 3 minutes, right? Okay.
Yeah, we can give it a few minutes to
Look at that.
give a look.
Emily,
Emily, I saw.
I think you see ULTA, yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
I'm looking
ULTA's a
at
great
that.
idea to look at. Hey, Tandra.
Ooh.
Hey.
Thanks. This is why I love you, ladies. I don't know last time I looked at ULTA. This is already in its gap, so it's just like you taking the rest of it or not. So now we got to figure out, does it want to finish it? So yes, the wick is like all the way up here. Let's move these lines around. Right there is that wick at 474.82, which is nice, but do we have a stronger level from back here that's going to do something ugly? And I already see a gap, and that gap is going to do something ugly. I hate gaps on gaps. God fucking damn. Because y'all know me, in the crib, wicks don't fill gaps. So this is a gap. So I could see price stopping at 471. I'm looking at, these are all daily shoulders too. Let's see. This is a little, what am I looking at? I got high, retracement high. This may not hold as strong. I'm gonna come out 2 hour to really know. Okay, let's look at it. So first, it has to come back and retrace this, because it's not even retraced its own retracement to get back up there. ULTA. And then, so I would want to get in 454, somewhere around there. Come back. Ooh, we got 2 gaps. Ooh. The thing is ugly. I don't like you anymore. Purple, gap 1. Oh wait, this one's been filled, but this wick, so I was off. So that one's been filled. So then, okay, so we have this one. So this is a gap. This is where current price is. This is where price needs to retrace back. Yeah, I'm on the right side. Yeah, I am. Okay, so price is here. It needs to retrace this, and then it has to beat its gap in the gap, and then it has to finish. And it's ugly as hell because this is a 2 hour. Ooh. So with momentum and a few other things, and maybe we can get it up there. I'm definitely counting on this. So let's come back to the daily. Let's see where that puts me. Okay. So 454. So if I got in after 454, then I could take 454 to 458. That's a $4. That's not too bad. If I conservatively traded like here to here, and then figure out based on my pattern. So maybe I'll do multiple contracts as an idea and get out at 458 and maybe hold. I may have to buy it 2 different times. I may do maybe 2 contracts to here and then 2 more contracts at a longer expiration date, because I don't know how price will chop up here. And so therefore, if it is too choppy or it looks like it's reversing, I won't lose too much on it. Because you really need to break 458 before you can even consider 471. These big gaps are scary, man, because you want them to just come through like medium-sized regular ones, but they don't be doing that. And these other tickers be killing me because Lulu did that. I was really upset. So even if I took it from 454 to 471, $17 trade. This is definitely a really big gap. And 481 is the top. So I would just take it in strides because unless you know how ULTA is gonna clear this gap. And ULTA got quite a bit of recovery to continue to do. So I like that one. I put ULTA on. I have the alert set, so I'll look back at it when it hits it. I like it. You had a PTSD moment to Lulu. What you Lulu took too much money from you, Esther?
Yes, Lulu and I are speaking right now.
Oh, I'm looking at Baba. I know Baba's a big W. I think it may actually want to come for these gaps. I know Baba was another one. My billionaire friend was trading every now and then. And I also remember it was one that Terry was messing with for a while too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how you guys may like it, don't like it. I don't know which way it wants, up or down. I have no idea. This monolithic tower-like candle sticking up on the 2 hour is not helping. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see which way. But I don't trade this one a lot either. It's just something else to kind of look at, see what's out there in the universe for us this summer. Look at Copart. Copart is another one. Fairly cheap, as you guys can see. Doesn't move very fast. You can scalp it. Or you can hold it because it doesn't move fast. It's not so expensive. You could probably hold it if it chooses to come down for this fair value gap. But I left it alone once I realized just how bad it kind of wasn't. This one's making all-time highs too. So just FYI on that. Is it? Yeah. So looks like a potential flag pattern going on here. And then it'll come up when it's ready. But that's just some other tickers on watch lists I have.